So anyway, with some of the labels that I wrote down that I think is important to recognize, also are not absolutely good and bad. So like people are saying it's treasonous, and that actually is devoid of moral value. 1776 was like the most treasonous year in American history, and it's our favorite year in American history. It was totally treasonous.
Well, also in Nazi Germany, you would have liked more treasons.
You would have liked a ton of treason.
You know what was treasonous? Hiding Anne Frank.
Sure.
So that she didn't get captured by Nazis. That was treason.
So,
we like that.
Exactly. So I want to encourage people when you're discussing with friends, family, etc. These labels actually aren't arguments, and you'll find that you sometimes support treason, you sometimes don't. So here's a handful of things.
Treason's really bad. I'm not saying treason's always good. It's just the real question is, do you agree?
Is this a good treason or a bad treason?
Do you agree with the government?
Yes.
If you agree with the government, treason's bad. If you disagree with the government, treason is good.
If there was an uprising in North Korea, we would be cheering for the treason.
Yeah.
We would love it. So in any event, oh no, I just lost it. I wrote down a bunch of the words that are sometimes good and sometimes bad that a lot of people use as absolutes. So the first one was treason. Let me see where the other one is. So treason, not always good, not always bad. I think we've established that. Being called during a podcast, always bad.
Are you getting called right now?
I'm getting called, yeah.
Airplane mode, dude.
Free speech. And when I say free speech, what I mean is that saying anything you want all the time. And we've talked in the past, I don't want to go deep into it, how we've carved out these sections for libel and slander as if they were different kinds of speech. And they're not. They're just people saying things that cause people to behave in ways that you don't want. But you're allowed to lie under free speech. You're allowed to be wrong.
Yeah.
But we've just said, sometimes you're not.
Yeah. Which I actually don't disagree with. You're just saying that people aren't free speech absolutists. Because I actually like that you can't slander, that you can't libel.
It's free speech is not an absolute good. Many people think, and myself included, rights of a private business to discriminate. We mentioned the civil rights thing. Like, it's not always a good thing. Imagine a society, which is not hard, that thinks that people of a certain skin color, and the majority hold this opinion, are bad, wrong, and that people that sleep with members of the same sex are evil. And that no one will serve them food, allow them banking access. You know what I mean? Like, the rights of a private business to discriminate is sometimes really good, though. Sometimes you want to not. I think that's much as obvious. You don't want to have to hire whoever the government tells you, or you want to discriminate based on a lot of different things.
Yeah, IQ, ability to be successful, if you like the person.
If you like the person, and you're allowed to not like people for any reason, which in the 60s was skin color, right? So
you're not allowed to dislike people for any reason, because if you dislike people for skin color, you still should hire them, because the government's...
But I'm saying, yes, exactly. That's my point, is to say that sometimes you do not want a private business to have rights to discriminate upon who they like. Due process, not always a good thing. Now, this one is complicated, but like, people love Abraham Lincoln. Civil War guy did it. Suspended habeas corpus. Put everybody in jail. Not everybody. Put people in jail with no due process. You also have the idea of, the terrorist that has planted a bunch of nukes and they're going to go off in an hour. And it's like, well, I'd like my lawyer and your trial is going to be in a week. It's too late. You got to waterboard that guy. Another one, torture. You know what I mean? Like, there are times where we would all advocate for torture.
Like what?
Like the terrorist who we were 100% certain, which of course you can't be, had planted them, that wasn't going to talk, and you...
Got it. There's a nuke somewhere, 100,000 people will die. If you pull this guy's fingernails off, he's going to tell you where it is. He's going to
tell you where it is, and you're going to save millions of lives.
Everybody goes, yeah, you should rip that guy's fingernails off.
Yeah, I think so. I think most people would agree with that.
Justin, chime in if you disagree with any of these.
Yeah. Are you an absolutist with any of these things?
You don't have to be. Just another voice.
Yeah, I'll chime in if I think of something.
Cool. Okay. Following orders in the military. Obviously, you need cohesion in the military, but there's the famous story of the Russian nuclear submarine guy who, I think it was during the Bay of Pigs, or tensions in the Cold War were very high. There was some sort of disturbance to the sub. They lost communication. They thought World War III had happened, and they needed 3 guys to turn the key to nuke the United States of America. And 2 of them were in, and the 3rd guy didn't. And it turned out that he was right to not do it.
Yeah, he prevented World War III.
Dissented and prevented World War III. And sometimes you don't follow orders. Democracy. We've seen that the majority can vote for things that aren't good. I mean, we had democracies with slavery. We had democracies with all horrible, every manner of horrible thing that happened throughout history since the advent of democracy. happened within the context of a democracy. And quite frankly, the civil rights thing, I don't know that it was advocated by most Americans. It was advocated by some of the powerful ones that were like, this is wrong. We shouldn't be discriminating on this, even if many of you in the South want to.
Yeah, if they'd held a popular vote, who knows?
In Alabama, I think it's pretty certain what they would have voted. Nationalizing various industries. This is something that, should the roads be open to anyone? Should healthcare be open to anyone? Should social media platforms be open to anyone and protected? There's problems with nationalizing because you get typically a crappier product, but everybody has access. And then I could keep going, socialism. Anyway, all of these things are sometimes good, sometimes bad. But I heard people saying that, you can't nationalize it because nationalizing is bad. And that's not an argument. All of these things.
What is the, so you've provided a lot of evidence, but what is the thing that triggered this?
I see arguments that are saying, what you're suggesting is socialism. Full stop. It's like, yes. Or what you're suggesting we nationalize these industries? That's crazy. It's like, there's no argument there.
Got it.
Like nationalizing an industry is sometimes good and sometimes bad, and we need to discuss further. And with all of those things, I saw those labels. That's treasonous, like as if it were an argument. It's not an argument. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're saying that if people should watch themselves when they say it, look out for when other people say it, or just that thing you've seen?
You could watch yourself, watch other people, slap your parents in the head if they do it in conversation with you on the phone. I mean, yeah, it was funny. The other thing that I see is that all of a sudden people have these new words just inserted into their lexicon and they don't question how or why. And it's frustrated me. And I've mentioned it, but like, I do feel when I talk to my mom and dad that I'm talking to Rachel Maddow. It's like, I don't need to have this conversation because I can literally just turn on CNN and they'll tell me everything that you think. And down to the word choice, like coup. Yeah. This is the first time in my life that I've heard you mention the word coup. I'm not sure like how familiar you were with it before this week, but all of a sudden it's on the tip of your tongue. Sure. How did that happen? So anyway, yeah, I see words being used not to explore concepts, but to kind of like obfuscate and cover up interesting questions. So I've got too much to even read. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video and I will see you in the next one.